See this fucking balls? Lick them. Listen, haters are going to hate, and the fact that Tony Bellew and Carl Froch didn't make any money out of the game is obviously hurtful to them. And I'm making the biggest bags that's ever existed.
Tyson Fury has apparently decided that losing to Usyk twice isn't embarrassing enough. So now he's channeling his energy into tearing apart Carl Froch for trolling him about it.
Tony Bellew and Carl Froch do a little mock-up fight somewhere, see if they can get anyone interested in it. Who cares what they think? They're just average little boxers, no personality.
Honestly, the whole situation is as messy as Fury's defense was in that rematch. Instead of taking the L like a champ, he's gone after Froch, who, let's face it, has never been one to sugarcoat his opinions.
Tyson hasn't got the fitness or the engine anymore for 12 solid rounds. To beat Usyk, you've got to be able to sustain the pace.
Froch, in his typical no-nonsense style, pointed out that Fury's training was the real problem and even called him all talk and no action.
A bit of hatred for Usyk there, because he's ruined his legacy and he's ruined him at the end of his career. He's had back-to-back defeats now. Can he mentally cope with that and retire? I know he's got 100 million quid in the bank, which is going to soften the blow, but bottom line is, money shouldn't be your king.
Harsh? Sure. True? Probably. But Fury, being Fury, didn't take the critique lightly and decided to clap back with the kind of over-the-top reaction you'd expect from someone who's still licking their wounds.
Usyk. No, he won't be furious. He'll be okay.
You will be furious, you will be angry.
No, I won't be angry, I'll be focused.
They told me that when you are in a...
And the part that really hit Fury where it hurts was Froch calling his performance terrible and unprofessional. And the worst part is, he didn't stop there either, slamming Fury's corner for being a chaotic mess of too many voices and zero clear strategy.
It's obviously hurtful to him. And I'm making the biggest bags that's ever existed. I've just signed the biggest deal in boxing history, which I can't divulge to you right now.
And then Froch, being Froch, just had to take it further. He mocked Fury's obsession with cash, calling it embarrassing, and saying it had completely overshadowed any attempt to protect his legacy. Basically, Froch was out here saying Fury traded greatness for a fat paycheck, and in doing so, sold out the very thing that made him special.
Strong as me. Not everybody's mentally as strong as me. Like, a lot of negative stuff can bring other people down. But it doesn't do shit to me because it's just like water off a duck's back. It doesn't do anything. I'm waterproof.
But what really turned the knife was Froch dragging his own name into the conversation. The man loves a good self-plug, doesn't he? Froch compared Fury's downfall to his own comebacks, implying that Fury doesn't have the grit or the resilience to claw his way back from this kind of humiliation. He painted Fury as a guy whose loud bravado could no longer hide the cracks in his armor. And let's not forget the fight itself, a night that sent shockwaves through boxing. Alexander Usyk's performance against Tyson Fury on December 21, 2024, was the kind of display that makes you wonder if Fury even read the memo on who he was fighting.
Bottom line is, Alexander Usyk won the fight. On my scorecard, it was the same as the judge. It was 4 or 5 rounds, 117, 112 or 116.
Usyk, the smaller man by over 40 pounds and several inches, didn't just win. He gave Fury a masterclass in precision, strategy, and pure boxing IQ. Fury, who's built his career on being the big, agile guy, looked like he was stuck in quicksand trying to keep up with Usyk's footwork and head movement.
There was times when Fury was backing him up and leaning on him and putting his weight on him and pushing him around the body and holding on to him. And that's how you make the fight messy. But you tire Usyk out and you win the rounds, put a couple of shots together, lean on him. But that takes a bit of energy from Tyson. And he wasn't able to sustain it. He wasn't able to do it for long enough periods.
Every time Fury tried to step in and use his size, Usyk danced around him, countered with laser-sharp jabs, and left Fury looking frustrated and slow. It was like watching someone chase a shadow. Despite Fury's well-known power, Usyk made it clear that size means nothing when you've got a plan. He outmaneuvered Fury at every turn, reading his moves like he had a cheat sheet.
Because Usyk was getting marked up, he landed his headshots, he had his moments of success, but when he did have success and he was doing well, and I was thinking that's a good little combo from Fury.
By round 9, it wasn't just a fight anymore. It was a clinic. Usyk's sharp combinations and relentless pace forced Fury into the ropes, leading to a standing 8 count that might as well have been a flashing neon sign saying, "Game over." That round didn't just define the fight. It cemented Usyk's reputation as a heavyweight genius, capable of dismantling even the most imposing opponents.
I love that shit, man.
What do you reckon, right man won?
Right man won. I think Fury, what would he do now? His head will and his heart will be absolutely broken. I think he was always having to react instead of actually being the activator.
And let's talk about legacy. Usyk didn't just beat Fury. He flipped the entire narrative of the heavyweight division. Analysts like Eddie Hearn and Teddy Atlas are now calling Usyk the generational great, a title that was still up for grabs before this fight. With an undefeated record spanning both cruiserweight and heavyweight, including back-to-back wins over Anthony Joshua, and now this dominant victory against Fury, Usyk is being talked about in the same league as Ali and Lennox Lewis. His ability to outthink and outbox opponents much larger than him isn't just impressive, it's historic.
You could see that he actually got a bit of hatred for Usyk there, because he's ruined his legacy and he's ruined him at the end of his career. He's had back-to-back defeats now. Can he mentally cope with that and retire? I know he's got 100 million quid in the bank, which is going to soften the blow, but bottom line is, money shouldn't be your king.
Fury, on the other hand, has some serious soul-searching to do. Coming into the fight, he carried an aura of invincibility, bolstered by wins against Deontay Wilder and Vladimir Klitschko. But Usyk didn't just beat Fury, he exposed him. For all Fury's talk about being unbeatable, he looked shockingly human in that ring. This wasn't just a loss, it was a reality check. The man who once declared that no one born of a mother could defeat him now has Usyk's name etched in his loss column, and it's not going away anytime soon.
But Usyk was just too good. El Supremo, Alexander Usyk. I think now it's time to walk away into the sunset and not risk his legacy, because you see fighters fight on for too long.
Now the big question is, what's next for Usyk? At 37, with an Olympic gold medal and undisputed titles in 2 divisions, he's achieved more than most fighters could dream of. Retirement wouldn't just make sense. It would feel like the perfect ending. But boxing loves a good storyline, and Usyk isn't done yet.
Tony Bellew and Carl Froch do a little mock-up fight somewhere, so they didn't get anyone interested in it. Who cares what they think? They're just average little boxers.
Fury activated the rematch clause faster than you could say damage control, setting the stage for a potential showdown in October 2024. There's also buzz about Usyk taking on other top contenders like Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. Either way, Usyk's options are stacked.
At the end of his career, when he's getting old and tired, because he was tiring in there, but to still pull out the performance that he pulled out and do what he's done. If he walks away now, he's finishing really on a massive high.
Meanwhile, Fury's decision to push for an immediate rematch is raising eyebrows. Critics, including Carl Froch, because of course it's Froch, argue that rushing back into the ring might be career suicide. Fury's performance against Usyk wasn't just technically flawed. It also raised questions about his mental state. His subdued demeanor before the fight and his lackluster performance during it don't exactly scream ready for redemption. And let's be honest, going against a high-on-confidence Usyk without serious changes might just make things worse for Fury.
But behind the computer screen, anybody can be anybody, and everybody's tough.
If Fury has any hope of winning the rematch, he needs to completely overhaul his approach. Analysts like Paulie Malignaggi have pointed out that Fury has to lean into his size and power, something he failed to do the first time around. Instead of playing Usyk's game, Fury needs to cut off the ring, control the pace, and keep Usyk from finding his rhythm. Conditioning is also going to be critical. Fury faded hard in the later rounds, while Usyk was still bouncing around like he just got started. Without better stamina, Fury's chances of turning the tables are slim to none.
And he's quite sort of nonchalant with his body language and disrespectful, and people don't like it. You know, if you're at the top and you represent.
Now tell me, isn't this exactly the kind of circus act that practically begs for criticism? That's why there's Carl Froch, who never misses a chance to call it like he sees it. Froch didn't hold back. labeling John's presence in Tyson's corner as damaging and unprofessional. He pointed to the Usyk fight as Exhibit A, highlighting the confusion during critical moments when John's loud, conflicting instructions drowned out any semblance of a game plan. Froch even went so far as to suggest that Tyson might need to sideline his dad entirely if he wants to get his career back on track.
But to be honest, it's not a big fight for me. It's not something I get excited for. It's almost like the battle of the losers, isn't it? They both lost to Usyk. I mean,
this isn't Froch's first rodeo when it comes to criticizing the Fury family, but his words hit differently after that Usyk loss. He argued that Tyson's success has often been overshadowed by John's outbursts, whether it's dramatic press conference antics or public confrontations with fans and pundits. Froch's point was simple. Tyson's greatness is getting lost in the noise, and it might be time for the Gypsy King to step out of his father's shadow and focus on his craft.
Whilst you've got two other people giving you advice, that means you're listening to absolutely nobody.
And let's not pretend this is a one-off thing. The Fury family dynamics have always been complicated, but the pressure of the Usyk fight seemed to put them under a magnifying glass. John's fiery, over-the-top defense of Tyson, while rooted in love, has a way of veering into the overbearing territory. Even during Tyson's earlier fights, like the Wilder trilogy, John's outspoken nature often took center stage. Remember when he publicly criticized Tyson's training decisions and demanded more control over his preparation? Sure, Tyson won that fight, but the tension in the camp was impossible to ignore.
I think that Usyk should probably hang his gloves up. I think Usyk's completed the game. Former undisputed cruiserweight champ. Completed it at cruiserweight. Beat everybody in style. Wasn't really... I mean, he was in a couple of tricky fights, never really in any serious problems.
Some, like former heavyweight champ David Haye, have openly questioned whether Tyson's loyalty to his father might be holding him back. Haye pointed out that while having family support is great, there's a fine line between support and unnecessary interference. And with John playing triple duty as father, trainer, and spokesperson, that line has been obliterated. It's a volatile mix that might not be doing Tyson any favors, especially when he's facing opponents like Usyk, who bring discipline and focus to a whole new level.
He's been a fantastic fighter, he's had an unbelievable career, but he's not what he thinks or what he's telling everybody or what Big John Fury is telling everybody, how he's unbeaten and no man born from it.
The million-dollar question is whether Tyson would actually benefit from putting some distance between himself and John's larger-than-life presence. But whether Tyson decides to keep his father in his corner or finally reevaluate the team dynamics, one thing is for sure. John isn't fading into the background anytime soon. The real question is whether his presence will help Tyson reclaim his throne or just add another layer of distraction to an already uphill battle. Either way, the Fury family saga will continue to be as entertaining as the fights themselves, sometimes more so.